Next is Ptr Kozlowski. Now, Peter, I met back in early 2012, and he has been the videographer for this series ever since it started, and I just met him at that time. And he's a terrific poet. He's performed with us before, but he's also now going back to his music roots. He performed at CBGB's with KD Rage and Baby Boom. Unfortunately, sadly, KD Rage passed away just recently. JD Rage. And so I guess we could say this is a tribute to JD Rage. Peter doing both poetry and music. Let's hear a warm welcome for our great poet, videographer, songwriter, singer, Ptr Kozlowski.
Knives and diamonds, they'll cut you to the heart. They've already sold you before you get old. You will ask them who you are. Knives and diamonds are stuck in you. Knives and diamonds from head to shoe. Knives and diamonds, they twinkle just like stars. A princess eyes them, young bucks buy them, they know not what they are. Knives and diamonds around your neck. Knives and diamonds, they have you checked. Knives and diamonds, they're on your TV screen. Against the window, a midnight wind blows, a lonely echo screams. Knives and diamonds, they're in your dream. Knives and diamonds, they're making you cream. Knives and diamonds, they're not the only game. You let them play you and doubtless pay you. Your friends all do the same. Knives and diamonds, they're heartless friends. Knives and diamonds, and hound you no end. Yeah, that's an original song of mine from back in the day, years ago, decades actually. And I used to try to channel my ideas into songs, but some became poems and some of the poems became songs. And I was working one day on this old song, Money Burns a Hole in My Pocket, and looking for a new way to play it, and started to think of it as an arrangement. Then it's maybe it's a new song based on it, but it stalled because where the idea went outside of the structure of the song. So it became a poem, and the poem is kind of musical and sing-songy, but it's not a song, it's spoken word, it's different, it's interesting. Money burns. Money burns, burns a hole, burns a hole in my pocket, burns. Money burns a hole in my problems, burns. Money, as in spending, burns a hole in depression, burns. Because it burns with potential and it burns with random acts with anonymity and whimsy in it. Burns. You got power in your workplace? Sure, of course you do. There's probably some in a strip on the floor beneath your desk. You feel empowered in a relationship. Well, you know how that can go when you hedge your bets. But you got power in your pocket in it. Burns. It burns when inspiration, fluid dreams of liberation, rocket science and syncopation. I don't even have any money, but I recognize the smell and it burns. So it burns the unsuspecting every hour of the week. It burns masters of the universe, the bold besides the meek. It can burn like pretty candles, like forest fire infernos, burn like sunshine on the flowers, melanoma on the beach. It burns like the acid rain that makes the grapevine shrivel. Burned. Money burns the ass of my rivals. Burns. As they burn with jealous raging in their envy of my money spending, burns. Money can burn the sound of a name or a story into people's minds. Money has burned a lot of rule books in its time. Money burns a lot more than your pockets. Burns. It burns down to the floor and what you thought were foundations like a China syndrome chain reaction meltdown burns. Money can actually time travel if you think about it. We can spend it before we get it. I got a number in the system. I got my clicking little cards that I can shuffle with and deal with. I've got magnetic strips and embedded chips. I've got near field communication. I got a wallop in my wallet and it burns. Meanwhile, and speaking of burns, I have this old song about another kind of burn. Burn for you. Like a trainload of timber, like a gallon can of gas, like lightning in a dry spell on a little grass shack. Like a hydrogen disaster, like powder and a match, like that engine on the wing, spinning its blades, starting to sing. It's gonna pull you through gray skies to get home at last. I burn for you, I turn up, yearn for you. It's so hot, and I don't care if I can spare it or not. Burn for you. Like a president in wartime, or a Gusters in a crash, like a parent with a sick kid they're afraid ain't gonna last. Like a type A hypertensive, keep her running just as fast, like that Jack Gambler buying credit, puts his house up on a line. It's made of cards, he could lose it all this time. I age for you, I wear down, I ache for you, I scrape the ground. It costs love, it costs blood, it costs my heart. Burn for you. I want love, I want it right. I want a planet somewhere in this endless night. I want you. I can't do without your light. Light on it, curtain call, like that statue with the torch. Like the gemstones in your necklace, the early morning stars, the hydro-powered dams, the electric love across the sand ignites that city in the desert's concrete heart. I burn for you, I light up, turn for you, I'm in love. And that glow's just there to show you my love. Burn for you, shine for you, burn for you. One string to go. And now the request, because a nice love song like that may help you get into a relationship, but it doesn't necessarily stop it from ending. And you end up like this poem here. With apologies to Emily Dickinson, I heard a clock talk when I died. I heard a clock talk when I died. Not really. For one thing, I didn't die yet. Besides, I got rid of the clock that went talk. I had this clock that went talk. It was a rotary kind with the seconds hand that advanced in increments. And with every step, because of the resonance of the plastic housing in which it was mounted, it made a sound like talk. It didn't take long to conjure in my mind the idea that I could get another clock. It was a similar design, but of a different size, and it would have made the same sound, but in a higher register, thus providing the missing tick for this one's talk. They could have been like a perfect match, like soulmates, or complements like yin and yang. But the trouble is, neither of them is calibrated to a reliable standard, and they just drift in and out of sync, going from total duet harmony to call and response, and back again, and around again. Can you imagine lying awake at night with that? With each stroke, each one is trying to get ahead of the other. The battles of ta-tak and ta-tik recall a long-running argument that persists and can't quit. But the unaccompanied talk becomes evocative of the sound made by those funny shoes that women wear that go clock, clock, clock when they go walking down the block. But there's a vast gulf between that kind of clocking and sitting there listening to this thing go talk. It starts to sound like mock. 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 What are you, taunting me? What? Because I don't happen to have any of that clockwork in my life? So what? I was usually always partial to the low-heeled types anyway. So away with this talk, clock, mock, I say. Out, damned talk. We'll take it outside and smash it. Rock. This is my former self responding to that poem. That's a recent poem. But after the clock stops talking, I can remember this song from before. It goes... If you could only stop singing that song, just for a little while, just long enough to hear the other tunes in the room, you might find you like a different tune. Oh, it's stranger than a distant moon. Now somebody taught you that song, and they somehow imply that it was wrong for you to teach a couple notes what to do, for you to bend a couple bars to blue, for you to put your foot in other shoes. Can you dream about dancing outside the moon? Can you dream about eating from a silver spoon? Can you dream about anything at all these days? Can you see yourself outside of this haze? Have you nerve enough to turn the page? Are you strong enough to be amazed? Stop humming that line. Just for a couple days you might find how good it can feel to be free from that overpowered musical need, from that noise that never lets you be.